Welcome back to part 2 of our Chapel Project introduction. I have Suzanne Farrow with me, and I'd love to ask her a few questions. Where in your life did the identity with Frank Lloyd Wright begin?
I think as a child, I lived in the outdoors on my horse on the beach. Nature was involved in everything I did. Animals, camping, bonfires on the beach, art, gardening, you name it. And then as a teenager, I was privileged to visit all our national parks that was west of the Rockies. And it was an incredible and expanding experience for me. And then when I went to college, I hiked the Grand Canyon 3 times and even hiked to the summit of Mount Whitney. Nature was and is my love of life, and because it gives me a freedom to express my appreciation for beauty in life, whether it's art, photography, cooking, listening to birds and watching them play, to me it's all magic. As a student at Arizona State University, I used to go horseback riding out on the Indian reservation that surrounded Taliesin West. That's how I learned of Taliesin West. And when I toured the campus, I was absolutely mesmerized and identified with Frank Lloyd Wright's philosophy of architecture that worked with nature. So my love of his work has never faded. And always, if I could tour a home or a building designed by him, I was there.
Yes, nature truly is there for us in every way, and we each need only to recognize the incredible part she plays in our everyday lives. Okay, Suzanne, what occurred that stimulated this project, the Chapel of Nature?
Well, I was up in Northern California. I was touring a Frank Lloyd Wright inspired property at Nakoma Golf Club. It's north of Tahoe. And I was standing in the pro shop, and there was this large book on the shelf. And the title was The Designs by Frank Lloyd Wright Never Built. Well, of course, I had to see it. And as I opened the book, the design of the Trinity Chapel of Nature just sent goosebumps right up my arms. So I said to myself at that time, "Oh Lord, if I ever come into money, I'll build this chapel in your honor." And I bought the book. And then 15 years later, at 3 in the morning, I awoke from a living dream of standing in this very chapel with a man at my side dedicating the Frank Lloyd Wright Chapel for all to experience the importance of nature in our lives. That morning, I sat at my computer and I started organizing everything. I mean, the organizational chart, the programming, the experience visitors, especially children, could have understanding the magic of nature in our lives.
Well, Suzanne, that truly is incredible. And it brings me to the next question of how did Vernon Schwabach become involved with this project?
About a month before this dream of seeing this project, I met a new friend, Barb Defoe. And 2 weeks later, when she saw the plan I laid before her on the chapel, she said, "This is incredible. My friend Cliff Paul needs to meet you. He has the same idea of a chapel of nature." So we met, Cliff and I, and Cliff said, "Susie, you need to meet Vernon Schwabach, who is Frank Lloyd Wright's protege. I'll set up the meeting in Scottsdale, and you can come and present it all to him." When the 2-hour presentation was explained to Vernon in his conference room, I said, "Well, what do you think, Vernon?" And he answered, "Susie, in my mind, I'm dancing on the table." From there, this project train just started rolling down the track. and we now are formally established as a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. The Montecito Bank and Trust is thrilled and in support of our project. Our International Honorary Board is most excited to be involved, and the directors are in love with the project. Thus, we have now entered the fundraising stage to bring it all to reality so that nature's magic is honored.
Thank you for listening in. You now have a pretty good idea of how this Chapel and Pavilion of Nature project has come to be. In our next video clip, Barb Dufault will share with you her excitement with this project and what we are to accomplish in this first fundraising year.